The rentals repair rodeo, it's a crazy world out there. How do you get your repairs done fast? We're going to tell you. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning.
Morning, how are you, legend?
I'm good. It's another sunny day down here at DY Beach.
It is. Look at you. Look at you.
I
Got the
know.
beach there. And good morning to
Dead sun.
everyone out there. I don't know if it's going to rain or be sunshine today.
No one knows. It's a coin toss these days.
It's crazy. It is
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know what to expect.
Might be 40 degrees and sunny. Might flood us again. Who knows? It's anyone's guess.
Now, crazy one this morning, repairs on properties. It's a big one. Tenants, it's probably one of the most complained things that tenants have. It's a strain with landlords because it always comes unexpectedly, and sometimes the repairs not in the landlord's eyes. Let's talk about it. Now, Charles, you're doing this every day.
Every day.
And then?
Sorry?
And then?
Look, yeah, you said it right. Every day, we've got several complaints from people who need work done. Now, it never resonates with people well. No one wants to do it. The agent doesn't want to do it. The repairman doesn't want to do it, or to an extent. The tenant doesn't want to have to complain about it, and the landlord doesn't have to pay for it. So it's not always the easiest thing to navigate, but at the end of the day, that's life. Things break, things need fixing, things need a bit of a face-up sometimes, and it's our job to kind of walk that middle ground in between what the tenant wants to happen and what the landlord wants to happen. Now, I've got plenty of advice for both a tenant and an owner. It's just a matter of where we want to start, Mark.
Yeah, I think with the landlord, we'll start. But I think with the landlord, I'm often having the discussion of how much rent have you taken since you've had the property full stop. And landlords are potentially taking hundreds of thousands of dollars of rent. And you lose perspective, I think, as a landlord a little bit, that, if you're going to take 50 grand in rent for that year or 50 grand in rent for those 2 years, you've got to put back. And I think but as a landlord, you just think, like, far out, are you serious? It never comes at a good time. It's a bit like going to the dentist. It's like, do we really have to do this? Is this really necessary? You probably start hating a little bit on the property, on the agent, on the landlord, because you think, man, I can't believe this. I thought, it's always a difficult posture that you sort of have straight away when you get approached with a repair.
Yeah, completely agree. Look, it's something that I always tell people, especially when I'm speaking with landlords who are a bit not hesitant to do work, but just a bit not understanding sometimes. I always tell them, look, you can't expect people to live comfortably in a property that you would. So it's easy to say, no, I don't want to put fly screens in. No, I don't want to put a new dishwasher. No, I don't want to put like a new hot water system in it. But when these things are something that you couldn't possibly see yourself living without, then it's kind of hard to expect someone else to do the same. And in that circumstance, those would then classify as repairs that need to be done. Like you were touching on before, Mark, it's a tenant who's paying rent. It's their home. It's more than just a rental property that they're switching around from every 6 months. So they obviously want to be as comfortable as possible and to really set their home up as somewhere that they can see for a long time, which at the end of the day is the best course of track for their investment property anyway.
And also, I think for landlords, like I've talked about how much rent a landlord's taken over a period. I also think when you look at capital growth, how much that property's made. A typical unit or a typical house in Sydney has made hundreds of thousands of dollars in just 1 year. And I think it's fair if there's any time where you're going to put back in, it's when the property's actually making money. And I think fair's fair. It's time to put back in. If you do get the opportunity of doing maintenance or repairs, I think it's a great opportunity. Take it, do even a little bit more than you need to do while you're in there or while your trading's in there, because that property has served you really, really well lately. Give back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's necessary. This obviously never comes at an amazing time. No one obviously wants to go out of their way to spend money on something that they're not effectively going to be using at all times. That's why
Yep.
I think personally a bit hard for landlords to agree to some repairs, because it's going to be for the benefit of others in the short term, but the benefit of the landlord in the long run. And not everyone sees it that way.
Now, with the repairs not getting done, we've talked about landlords and the obviously the emotion that they will go through with the repair, potentially getting more done than what you need, getting less done, getting nothing done. Why you should get it done, it's adding value as well. But is there times where there's a sloppy agent? Like, let's be honest, is there a time where with repairs where an agent hasn't communicated it to a landlord or gone back to a tenant? Is there times when landlords are not doing it? Like, what do you think there? Because I think that it does happen.
100%. There's no denying that in some circumstances, agent replies, owner replies, stuff like that can always be a bit slow. I think because we send, I'd say, anywhere from 5 to 10 work orders for work to happen a day, agents, including myself at times, become a bit diluted to the process. And so when we just send a work order and have it done and just don't worry about it anymore, and we think that's our job done, there's always a tenant on the other side who's going, I haven't heard anything, I'm stressed out, I don't have hot water, I need something to happen as soon as possible, which is completely fair enough. So I think for reasons within ourselves and without, there can be sloppy agents sometimes who let an email sit for maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks before actually being actioned. But yeah, it's important for the tenant to be following up any urgent repairs. At the end of the day, we're happy to do anything urgent. But in some circumstances, especially with all the flooding and the dangerous weather events that we've had in the last few weeks, we sometimes have to make the unfair choice of prioritizing what's more important and what's less important. And at the end of the day, if someone wants a renovation because that's just if a tenant wants a renovation because they just want it, versus someone who has no hot water versus someone who has burst sewage pipes in their property, obviously there's a very clear priority.
And I think if you're a tenant, sometimes you've got to read between the lines a little bit, because it must be really frustrating for tenants sometimes. Agents have to communicate even if they haven't got a result. And I think that's a problem at the moment, where if you're waiting, if you've got a landlord that can't afford it, if you've got a landlord that doesn't want to repair it, or if you've got the body corporate, so there's a third party involved where you're waiting for parts, or you've got a body corporate where they're waiting for a vote from other people in the building. I think as an industry, we've got to probably just communicate nothing better. So if you don't have a result, I think the biggest industry problem that we have is we don't let the tenant know that we don't have a result. We simply wait for the result till it comes through. So I think more active communication with tenants is super important for a property manager. Certainly as a trainer and an employer of property managers, I'd say that it's over a very long amount of time. It's probably the deficiency that we've had most, that, just getting back and letting people know there's no news is so much more important than just not getting back at all. It's just, it kills the relationship. It kills the trust. Now, switching now over to tenants, Charles. Thoughts there?
Look, tenants whenever you're looking at repairs, obviously there's stuff that needs to be done. But then I think there's a whole nother ball game which tenants seem to forget about in regards to stuff that doesn't need to be done and stuff that falls on their responsibility. I think in today's property market with all the new legislation from fair trading, it's kind of taken most to all of the tenant responsibility out of maintaining the property to an extent. But doing repairs in regards to doing repairs themselves and changing light bulbs here and maybe using drain cleaner there. It's kind of as soon as I feel as soon as anything goes wrong, it's on the phone to the agent, on the phone to the landlord. Which at the end of the day, tenants are living in the property. They're responsible for the overall wellness of the property to make sure that nothing's being done to go out of the way and damage the property and stuff and so forth and so on.
So what's the with a tenant, and this would be probably the most common beef a tenant has in the industry. There's a repair that needs to be done. It's clearly a repair that's been done. All of your friends agree that it's a repair that needs to be done. You've discussed it widely. The repair's not done. Passed after the third call to the real estate agency. There are other avenues like tribunal, yeah? How does that work?
So for a tenant, you can contact fair trading. Now, I'm unsure of the process to an extent, but I know for a fact that if you're calling, you're getting nowhere, you've sent email after email, and nothing's going on without obvious reason, like someone's left the business or anything like that. You can contact fair trading to action a work order immediately from an agent. The costs are a bit unknown to myself. Like I said before, I actually haven't gone down that route before.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I haven't needed a tenant to go do that yet, thankfully, touch wood. But yeah, look, it's all very accessible on the fair trading website. You always say it all the time, Mark, and I think it's dead on. It's called fair trading for a reason. They do what's fair in regards to property, and they'll definitely be able to assist any tenant in regards to being a bit stuck with those repairs.
Yeah, so I get a lot of people contacting me out of the industry. So I get a lot of people that are at absolute wit's end, and they call me knowing, friend, family in the business, and they go, look, man, I've just got this biggest issue with a particular repair. I had one lady which was calling about the agent and the landlord decided to store carpet in the unit, in the wardrobe. There was 3 big rolls of spare carpet, and she's like, I don't even have a garage, and I've got no room, and they won't move the carpet. What do I do? So sometimes it's just there's the most weirdest stuff that comes up, and nothing gets done about it. Tenants don't know what to do about it. Landlords won't accommodate. Agents won't accommodate. Fair trading is brilliant. For $60, they will actually call and have a structured meeting and mediation between the landlord and the agent. Structured, there's a member there that will help run the meeting. A mediator there will help run the meeting, and they'll find resolution there. Now, if resolution is not found in that meeting, and it's great now because people are doing it remotely, if resolution is not found in that meeting, they will allocate your member, sort of like a judge, and then you'll sort of have almost like a trial, and the member will will bring on a decision to be made on the matter of what they think is fair. Now, the great thing is that these members are doing this all day, every day. It's pretty impossible that they haven't heard it before. So the answers are, their understanding is excellent. The answers and the structure is excellent. And both people walk away with an answer generally on the day. So the mediation, sometimes they'll get you to come back with more information on another day. The hearing, sometimes they'll get you to come back on another day. But when you walk into a hearing, they will hear it, and they'll make a resolution that day for you. So that's probably in the rental repairs rodeo. That's probably the holy grail of big problems being sorted out.
Yeah, and that's exactly right. Yeah, that's I think your last resort Hail Mary when you're just not getting anywhere with the agent. Of course, we always want to not have that happen, and provide our services as best we can. And in my experience, that's what happened. But yeah, look, Mark, I think that's definitely well said. In my experience specifically with fair trading, I've never been there for tenant repairs before, but yeah, I've never had a poor decision from NCAT.
Interesting. So, mate, that's the repairs rodeo. In summary, guys and girls, it's a fair system. Landlords, message out to landlords, keep your property well repaired. Remember, you've made a lot of money taking rent. Remember, you've made a lot of money taking capital growth. It's time to put into your property. Agents, remember to communicate. Even if you don't have an answer, go back to your tenant, go back to your landlord and let them know you have no answer and that you need another day or 2 or 5 or whatever that may be. And tenants out there, make sure you're really crisp in your communication. Make sure it's documented. Make sure you got photos. Make sure it's a fair request that you're asking. And be sort of patient that there may be a third party involved, like a body corporate. But if you don't get anywhere and you know you're right, you've always got fair trading you can rely on for not a lot of money. Don't be scared. It's fair.
I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Have a great day, legend. Thank you for today.
No worries. Anytime. Like it's a very close subject to my heart, so I'll always enjoy talking about it.
It is. Thanks, Charles. See you, buddy. See you, everyone. Take care.
Bye.